Hey everybody! It is time to start some D&D with me? Question mark? And all these other folks here. Hi everybody. So this is the penultimate episode of the Crystal Arc. And I can't wait to get into it, so we're not going to waste too much time, but I did want to say one thing, and it's actually an apology to Jake, aka Tobias, because of my fat fingers. The crew, the viewers did not hear your finishing line when you killed the tower last episode. I accidentally muted you.
Oh no.
Oh
I'm
no.
so sorry for all of you. All of you were deprived such a great moment. Ugh.
And
It
now
was
we can make it up
amazing.
entirely.
So if you've been a longtime viewer of the Crystal Arc, Tobias has a catchphrase that he used in episode 2 back when he was fighting a frost giant, and when he had the finishing the finishing blow, he said, "I hope you like the Caribbean," and used a fire attack. And he did the exact same thing on the tower this time, I think much to Borok's chagrin. Anyways, let's jump into the episode. Welcome to episode 23, The Calm. The Geobreakers found themselves in the heart of a colossal crisis as they made their way to the crucial political talks at Scalebearer Pass. The pet of the Crystal Lich, known simply as the Tower, erupted from the Earth's depths, unleashing a nightmarish horde of adversaries. Chaos reigned as the meager armed forces of the Heldremian Kingdom, Commodon Dynasty, and the Bloodhands scrambled to mount a defense. With quick thinking, our adventurers huddled together to devise a daring strategy. Their goal? Seize the higher ground and dismantle the monstrous tower's power source. The battle escalated to a fever pitch as they closed in on their towering foe, only to be met by a swarm of crystallized mites that leaped to the defense of their colossal host. As the tower fought back with relentless fury, our heroes paid a heavy price. Tobias, in a harrowing moment, sustained a near-fatal blow that sent shockwaves through the group. Blow after punishing blow was exchanged as the tower and the combined forces of the infantry clashed in a cataclysmic showdown. It seemed as if all hope was lost. But in a climatic and triumphant moment, Tobias tapped into his strength and lashed out in fiery fashion with his offbeat catchphrase, landing a devastating, life-ending blow to the monstrous tower. The ground quaked, the sky thundered, and the Geobreakers emerged victorious, their indomitable spirit and cunning strategy failing against all odds. You now stand upon a field of uneasy victory. Geolucents, once unyielding and unrelenting, have begun their retreat back to the wastes. The beams of wild magic glowing and coalescing in the distance, the towering monstrosity now lies motionless upon the cracked, snow-covered ground. But this hard-fought battle has exacted a toll on both sides. The battlefield is a haunting tapestry of fallen soldiers, their lives claimed by the relentless struggle, some regardless of their allegiance, be it Commodon, Bloodhand, or Heldremian, stack the bodies of the infected, preparing a pyre, while others tenderly gather their fallen or injured comrade. This grim tableau the faces of the deceased bear the horrors they witnessed in their final moments, while the living wear expressions of bewildered shock. Uneasy calm hangs in the air, as if all there present are collectively holding their breath, haunted by the memories of this brutal clash. Now, as you all are clambering off the tower, you can see some of the bloodhands rushing to one of the sides of the tower's arms that are kind of lay out in front of you. What are you all doing?
I run over.
Tobias just basically kind of kneels down, kind of almost falls to the ground, exasperated and wounded and tired.
Borak, in almost an instant, you slide off the side of the tower, and you see the scores of bloodhand trying to move to lift this arm. You can see underneath it the mangled bodies of some of your fallen comrades and the horses that they were riding on. Although one stands out to you. You see the gray skin, bald head, and the salt and peppered beard close to his face of your war chief, Dolva, being pulled out, motionless from underneath carcass.
Shield! Get over here!
Pokes his head out from the hole he's been making in the base of the skull. Yes?
I need your help. Come over here, help me lift this arm up.
Land. I'll start helping.
The collective crew begin to lift this monstrous arm. Even though you're not lifting this whole arm, it does shift, and you see the bloodhands pull out the motionless body of War Chief Dolva. His legs absolutely mangled, and once again lays motionless. Immediately, healers are upon him, and they are trying to do any sort of healing to him.
I'll be down there with him, just trying to pump cure wounds into him, and
He attempts to save War Chief Dolva are futile. One of the bloodhands rests his hand on his chest and looks up at you without words, but you can tell in his eyes that he's gone.
fuck. I guess I'll just, similar to like I don't know, a scene in like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. I'm just gonna, as soon as that I realize what's that, I'll just sit beside him on my ass and kind of bury my face and take in what's gone on, covered in blood and shit in a battlefield. It's I'm just gonna say a silent prayer to my koala and pray for his safe crossing into the next round.
Time slows for you as battlefield becomes a mess of people running in panic. You just sit there silently. Bias, as you've righted yourself and begin to start to stumble and collapse over. You can see off in the distance Borak sitting just cross-legged by a motionless body.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think Shield will probably just stand there. He won't leave as well.
I'm gonna just kind of crawl on over to Bo and look at the scene and what's going on here, and just kind of put my hand on his shoulder and just be there. Just be there for him.
Cypher
And
Orsine.
Orsina's probably just running around trying to help the injured and see if anybody needs anything.
Yeah, I would, in my immediate vicinity, check if there's anyone that's injured or dying, and I would spare the dying, cantrip on them. And then I would quickly look over and see Bo and Chief Dova, and I would just levitate down and immediately just put my arms over his shoulders and just give him a hug and just be there.
Rock.
I'll be fine in a minute. Just go help the others. There's others that need help. I'll be all right. And I'll look at Tobias and I'll pump 2 cure wounds into him because I see that he's looking rough.
Oh, wow. How'd you know I needed that? Feeling right as rain now.
You look like shit.
Well, I see you're being pretty honest today, but I appreciate it.
Don't worry, your baseline for looking like shit is actually really good.
I like
You
that.
are one to talk, and I'll also cure Borok.
Well, friends, I know we've lost some people today, but it's a little victory, and I think it deserves being acknowledged, the effort that was put in today. I mean, we did it. Took
We
this
can
beast down.
We can acknowledge the victory tonight. Right now, I think we need to deal with this mess of a battlefield that we find ourselves on. That's not the end of it. We're kind of just getting started.
Now, Borok, as you're kind of in the midst of discussing the team, see the bloodhands now surrounding and kind of as in tradition with the bloodhands, gathering the weapons of the fallen and putting them on the fallen's chest. The issue is here that there is no real place to go, as the place where the tower attacked, this was the area that the bloodhands stayed in, essentially.
Right. How many others? Was there any others that I know that were lost?
One of the bloodhands decides, looks over and just says, "There's too many of them. I can't give you a number right now." You can see scores of Commodon, the Dragonborn, some of the Holdremian soldiers are all now kind of taking account of what happened, and you can see the king of the Holdremian kingdom and the emperor of the Commodon dynasty within the battlefield as well, and they are beginning to rally their people together.
I'll walk over to them.
As you are walking over them, the bloodhands almost ceremoniously walk behind you, and with a kind of self-made stretcher, they are bringing the corpse of War Chief Dolva with you. As you all get closer, you can see that they're worse for wear. They were in the middle of this battle as well. The emperor of the Commodon dynasty, you can hear him speaking in some sort of, well, you would understand it, Borok, as Draconic, and you can understand him kind of accounting for the losses, the strategic points were potentially where they could put more people in this area. The king looks over to you and says, "Was it you all who felled the beast?"
Yeah.
We all had a hand in that. That's correct, and I landed the
It
killing
was
blow.
Tobias.
Yes, Tobias landed the killing blow.
Well, very, very good of you, Tobias, that you struck out against this foe. You can see he looks past you and sees War Chief Dolva. Am I to understand this was your patriarch of the tribe?
Our chief, yeah.
He reaches out and he puts his hand on your shoulder. He says, I'm truly am sorry. Loss, regardless of status, is a heavy burden to bear. He pulls you in closer.
You know,
But
fighting
now
for-
is not the time to weep. Now is
Oh,
not
I
the
know.
time to give up.
fighting for what you believe in, or your own protection, or the protection of your people, or where you're from, is probably the most noble way to go. So, yes, there is a period of mourning, but at the same time, this is the circle of life, I guess, for us at least. I'm more concerned about you and the other monarch over there. I think the time for talking should be over from what you've now seen. It is now the time for action. And if you two can get your shit together, we might be able to actually have a chance against this thing. Now, are you with us or no?
I do not see this in any other way, but we have to see this through. But we are few right now. We will bring more to the fight and bring more to the battle. I've already spoken with the Emperor, and we are bringing more forces here within 2 days. We are
Well, that's
mounting an attack, and we will need all of yours, and he looks to you all, your expertise. Now,
right.
take your time, collect your thoughts, prepare yourselves, because this is just beginning.
Yes, it is. One battle has been won. Heavy losses sustained in this one. But we will move on for the sake of, everyone. This isn't just North and South, or Hodrumian and Comadon. This is everyone. If we don't stop this, then no one will. So, let's fucking stop it. And I'll start walking away.
Okay. Anything you all are doing while Borak walks away?
No.
Well, I think that Tobias is going to go and just make sure that his family is safe, because he knows that his mother was here, and he wants to just check in.
Yes, of course. As you look around, you can see that your mother isn't there to be found, but the head of the house guard, if you remember, Carlisle, rather rotund older man with kind of a curly gray mustache, is there, and you can see him in the back going kind of, yes, move him over there, just move some of the injured. Oh, Master Tobias, how are you?
Carla, I'm glad to see that you're doing all right after everything that just transpired. I'm doing, all things considered, I'm doing all right. I was injured fairly severely, but my body's healed me back to full health.
Glad to see. Were you fighting on this beast?
Well, you could say that.
No.
Oh, I was very much involved. Yeah, I killed it. I landed the killing blow.
You what?
Call me the Tower Slayer.
No, you did not.
Oh,
Your mother will not be
chatting.
able to
Yeah.
believe this. It's absolutely amazing. He starts calling over other members of the Chad guard, and he's telling you, "Hey, you just slayed the beast."
Well, fellas, the Chad legacy continues.
You can see like kind of a crowd kind of forms around Tobias as he's like regaling the tale of what he did and how he finished off the beast.
I would like to.
I just want to apologize really quickly, Jake. Here, like this is probably the worst thing that could have happened for Tobias.
His ego.
Not gonna play into it.
I'm going to do a silent image right beside Tobias as he's regaling the story of him. Like I'm gonna reenact it with the silent image, but I'm gonna really ham it up. Like Tobias is gonna be like way taller than he actually is, and way buffer than he actually is, and like shirtless with a quarterstaff, and it's just gonna be like a really played up, ridiculous montage of him killing the tower.
That's hilarious.
You're
I
welcome.
think Shield's gonna pull out his like Steve Rogers notebook, legally distinct for DMCA reasons. Flip to an empty page. Prefers to be called the Tower Slayer. Underline. And puts it away.
Perfect. Okay, so we're actually going to kind of start the beginning of our 2-day hold off between then. So I would like to actually go around the table, the virtual table, and kind of get everyone what they want to do within those 2 days. At the end of those 2 days, you will be marching with the armies or doing something alongside those into the wastes. Okay? I will say at the end of day 2, you all are requested to meet with the Emperor, a representative of the Bloodhands, and the King in a kind of war room situation. So I'm just gonna roll just a D number. How many of you? Yeah, a D6.
D5, you mean?
D5. Yeah, but there's no
D6, but yeah.
D6 would be fine.
You're
Take
the
out
sixth,
6.
man.
6 is I get to do what I want. So number 3, that would be Cypher. Cypher, what are you doing during this situation?
That was so bad. I was hoping not to go first.
You
It's fine.
can pass if you want to pass. I'll be totally okay with it.
Does anyone else want to go first?
I know what I'm gonna do, so I can.
Okay,
I'll go
then
first
Ty.
if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I'm going to meet up with the Bloodhands, especially Thode, Denasi, and Gen, if they are still alive. And before we head off, I know that we will have to ritualize the passing of the war chief, and then we'll also have to find a new war chief. So I don't know if we're going to do that now, but we need to at least discuss it. And figure out what's next.
As you find the group of the Bloodhands that are here, there are people that are missing. Denasi and Gen are one of them. You see Thode, the hulking orc form, kind of walk up and grab you by the forearm, shake your hand. He now too is a Thane, and he is running his own tribe, and his own hunting party. And you can see him come up to you, and he goes, "It's been a long time. How are you?"
Well, I mean, we've had better days, that's for sure, but it's good to see you. An old friend, it has been a long time.
We should have to be on better terms.
But, I mean, this is the way things go, unfortunately. We're used to the violence. It's not anything new. So, what What happened to Denasi again?
Yeah. You see him kind of look down, and they got taken.
Fuck.
No word back, but was a messenger. Little small bird came by, and Denasi has let us know that they are being held in the some sort of fortress. A few other people that have been kidnapped.
Well, hopefully they can hold out a couple days while we regroup here and mass the forces to launch this attack. Fuck. What are our numbers like? How's everything gone since? I mean, I've been away for I don't know, a year, 2 years. I can't recall.
The Comodon, they've been backing off, giving us our own space after save their hides down at the outpost about a while ago. So they're not paying us any mind.
Their end of the bargain.
Yeah, surprisingly. But there's a little bit of a slowly been getting picked off by those monsters that are coming out of the wastes. I don't know which way or how we're going to be able to see our way through this, but numbers, man, we're only in the 50s, 60s.
I need to come back. After this, I'll come back.
People have been asking for you, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. At some point, we're going to have to pick a new leader as well.
That'll come in time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it right now. We got a main problem that we got to deal with.
Yeah. Tell everyone that's able to fight that things that call thunder damage is good against these monsters. Once they're dead, fire explodes the crystals.
Yeah. I'll
just download. I'll download all the information I've had from the year and a half or whatever that I've been away. Like, just give all that to them.
So are we doing this? Are we in with these? I want to rip all their heads off.
We've come this far. I know our numbers are small, but if we don't defeat this thing, there's going to be no numbers. So, yeah, we're going.
We're going to be there, and I'll tell the shamans to make up some sort of thunder damage. I don't know. They wave their fingers.
Yeah.
And all I do is I swing an axe. That's it.
On the more positive end of the spectrum, found my mom, and she's alive, and
what?
She'll be coming with us once everything settles out.
Where is she? Is she here?
I don't know. God, is she here? No, she's in Armkirk, right?
Yeah.
Armkirk, yeah. She's safe for the moment.
She's in Burton. She's in Burton.
Yeah, she's in Burton, I thought.
Yeah, Burton. She's safe. She's being taken care of at the moment. A little farther away from here, but she's just, I got some favors with some people that have those teleportation circle things.
Yeah.
So we'll get her back here. Once,
tell you what, man, I miss your mama's apples, and she used to put them in that sweet stuff. And man, I think she still does that.
Well, unfortunately, she's in not the best shape, but I think that over time we can bring her back around. the being away from the tribe really did a number on her for that
Yeah.
many years. She was with some interesting folk.
Well, listen, man. If you need me to kind of come in and talk with the rest of the group here, big guy in the armor and the dragon with the fancy robes, I'm more than willing to come talk with y'all. Or if you got this, I don't want to impose, you know?
I got it, but you're definitely going to be part of the planning. That's for sure. You're an important part of this, and I can trust you. So that goes farther than a lot of shit. So it's going to be important for you to be by my side in this. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. Well, I mean, we have to bury.
Yeah, let's tend to that stuff. Yeah.
Now, Borak, do you want to address the funeral now, or do you want to do that after a few other folks go?
We can do that after a few other folks.
Okay. Cypher, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Doing.
So a couple things. First, when I get a chance, I snag some paper and some quills, and I just write probably the first letter to my parents that I haven't written I haven't written them in a long time. So I wanna write a letter to Alistair and Zadak, my fathers, and send them just like a letter, just kind of informing them of what's happening, to like keep an eye out, and that like if things don't go south, get the kids and get out. Let them know that I'm alive and I'm happy and I'm living, and that I love them and I miss them. So just a general letter, and I'm going to find a messenger, see if there's anyone sending anything, and see if I can get it out of this battleground.
You do find someone who's kind of running notes between here and Ormkirk, and you manage to easily, they've seen you take down a monstrous beast. They're going to do anything for you. They take that note for you and they run off in between.
I give them a flower from my hair first. So that's one thing. The next is whenever I think it might be appropriate, which could be tonight, could be tomorrow night, but just the eve of the big battle, when soldiers tend to be the most nervous. They're kind of looking for ways to just not be so nervous, not so scared. And what does Cypher do better than to bring people's spirits up respectfully, and not in a way to trudge over the loss of anything. They want to, maybe the first night, kind of just like go around to various camps and just kind of play some music for people that is mournful. Like the tales that they weave are mournful and sorry for a loss, but how like the sacrifice people made for the world and how they're heroes now, and wanting to like write some stuff and play some stuff for those people. And then the second night, turn it into more of like I'm trying to bring back a bit of the rave cart that me and Bo had. They want to set up a space where there's some drinks and they minor illusion, some disco lights, and they have just a place for people to go and just get out some energy, where they're probably scared as shit for what's about to happen. And she wants to bolster them and say, like, we're gonna defeat this. We're gonna save everyone. You're gonna be amazing. You're heroes. And they just want to try to bolster people's spirits.
Okay. So I would say closer to the end of the second night, you would do your mournful preparation in terms of like you play your violin. You go between the camps of the Komodans, the Blood Hands, the Holdremian Kingdom, and you play a mournful ballad, a ballad that you learned when you were traveling back in your day, and it's a ballad of a warrior on the night before a big battle. And the story weaves in and out between fear, hope, loss, and love. And you can see, actually, can you roll a d20 and add your performance, please?
Oh god, what's my performance? 16.
Okay. The performance is well received. There are some people that first kind of feel a little stood off and kind of, is this the right time? But by the end, everyone is actually singing along the ballad with you, kind of in a old Irish shanty style, Irish bar
That's exactly
style.
the goal.
Yes.
Just get it's a way of remembering and honoring those that have lost, and also honoring those that we're fighting for.
And as
as
the spirits are roused, you then break out into more of a celebratory party in a way, right? Like you obviously don't make it too intense that everyone gets blasted out of their mind, but at the same time, it's more of a joyous time to rouse spirits, lift spirits, and full of fighting songs and full of courageous stories. This rave cart becomes.
Yeah, trying to get people's spirits up and remember that there are lives that have been lost, and we will mourn and we will cherish their memories. But life, like, it's important to celebrate the lives that we do have and to fight with all of the courage that we have for those that are still alive, and we want to keep them alive and fight for the people. So that's their army rousing attempt. And then 2 other things. I'm hoping that in a moment of quiet, I can somehow maybe just grab a couple of flowers from my hair and try to connect to Estrella.
Okay.
I haven't really tried to do this before, but just try to like connect with her.
Okay.
And see if she's listening.
So you're grabbing your hair and just trying
No,
to...
I have like wildflowers that grow in it.
Wildflowers, okay.
And I just want to grab some in my hair and just hold some flowers because they're quite connected to like the Feywild in my brain.
Can you roll me Anna? Because I wouldn't say it's really religion, right? Or sorry, roll a d20, add your charisma. That's your spellcasting modifier.
+5, so I only rolled an 8, so 13.
You try to reach out to Estrella and you're holding your flowers. You're expecting an image to come through, but all you feel is a warmth from the flower.
I kind of look at the flowers and I just think really hard because I've never done this before and I don't know how to do this. But I think, Estrella, I know that you give me the magic that I have, but if there's anything more that you can give, we need it. If this plague takes over this plane, nothing will stop it from coming from your plane too. So if there's anything left that you can give me or this army, please do it. And I'll just kind of try to get that out to her.
As you say that, a petal breaks off and it gets carried by the wind and almost like disappears. Moments later, the petal comes back, and on the petal there is writing. And on the writing, it's very fine cursive. It says, "I'll be there beside you."
Okay. I put that petal in my pocket. And then I at one point I want to gather my friends. I want to gather them. And I have some things to say to them, but if we do what now or later, whatever.
Okay, we'll resolve that after the I guess what we'll do is we'll probably do the funeral and then we'll get everyone together as well from there. So next one up on my old dice list is that was a number 2, so that would be Callie or Orsina. Sorry.
Okay, so Orsina would be nursing a concussion because she did fall from the beast tower thing.
Okay.
But it reminded her of her childhood falling from a tree in the forest of Ventana. So, first thing, after all settled down, she is going to write a letter to her family in case she doesn't make it, just because she knows how big the battle ahead's gonna be, and she felt like she almost died from the previous one, so she wrote a letter. And then she's going to hang out with Moon a little bit now that it's a little safer. I'm assuming there's like foresty area around like where
It's
we
more
are.
of a kind of like a barren sort of
Is
like
it desert?
Think of it like a plain. Like there's little crops of trees here and there, but not like a big forest.
Okay, but there's still like it's still like
Yeah, there's still
nature-y.
stuff there.
Yeah.
I mean it's winter, but it's still nature.
So Moon's a little bigger now, so she's kind of also teaching him some defensive moves just in case she doesn't make it and he has to make it on his own. And then she would be kind of practicing with her like staff and stuff because that's kind of how she calms down. And then Tobias and her have talked about this previously, but then Tobias saw that, and then she would be teaching Tobias how to fight with his newfound quarterstaff that he now enjoys very much, because every child in Ventana gets trained to do wood fighting. She doesn't prefer it now. She prefers to do spells, but she still does exercises.
Okay.
And
okay.
then she wants a long rest.
For sure. Everyone, you're all gonna get long rests. Don't worry, you're all good on that. But I mean, I would like to welcome in Tobias if you guys want to do something for that quarterstaff training. Is it kind of like what I imagine is kind of like a Karate Kid,
Yeah,
sunset silhouettes
exactly.
movement?
Balancing on the stick type of thing.
Perfect. Tobias, what are you doing during that?
100%. We have that motivational music playing while I start off barely even understanding how to hold this thing, but by the end I'm twirling it around in my hands masterfully.
Perfect. So I want you to. This is the first time you're doing this. So this is the first training. I would like you to take a d20 and roll a dexterity with that, and add your dexterity modifier.
Alrighty, give me 1 second. We got a 13.
13. Okay. You begin
Not
to
bad.
whip around the staff, and like for Orsina's teaching you like this kind of like leg sweep maneuver and sweep up, sweep down, and for the most part you got it, but this last part you don't quite have. And when you're supposed to swing the quarterstaff up and put it behind your back like in a ready position, it just smacks you square in the nose and you get a bloody nose.
And then Moon is there watching, and he's like,
Oh,
yeah. So Moon laughs at that, and Moon also is learning his defense. So you're teaching him kind of like bear paw. You actually turn into a bear at this time, and you show him bear paw strikes and like tackles and all that stuff. And you can see him trying to do it. It's like and he's like trying to like swipe and claw at things. But the training goes fairly well between Tobias and Orsina. Orsina, you're seeing a side of Tobias that not a lot of people do see, where he is successfully being nimble when it comes to using a weapon, and it's rather surprising. But
wow.
you can tone down the flare, but good job.
Well, that's just ingrained in my persona, but I'll do my best. Now, did the training go well enough to perhaps achieve any inspiration?
I will say you get 1 point of inspiration. Everyone, like, for your points, by the way, Borok, Orsina, Cypher, you do all get 1 point of inspiration for these things. So thank you for reminding me, Tobias. And obviously you will too, Shield. I'm just saying we're gonna get to your point as well.
I would maybe save it.
Yeah,
We'll see.
We'll see. Actually, Orsina, is there anything else you wanted to do privately?
I'm just wondering, who can I leave the letter to my family to? I guess one of the Emperor people would like make sure it kind of gets to the right hands, type of thing.
Well, one day you see Cypher as they bring a note to a courier, and you speak with the courier, and the courier agrees to, when hopefully this is all done, he can get a note back to your family. Do you want to reveal what's on the note, or do you want to kind of keep it to yourself?
Let's keep it to myself for now.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to do?
Nope.
All right. Well, it's down to Tobias and Shield. Let's flip a coin. Shield, you're up.
Okay. I have a couple things I want to get accomplished. The first one's really quick. I just want to inspect the carcass of the tower. We talked about this a little bit offline, Peter, just to see, because like something like this, similar to dragons and their scale, the skin and the shell, it might be appropriate to craft into some sort of anything. Like it might be weapon grade material. Not that I'm going to do anything with it now or want to do anything with it now, but if it is, I just want to kind of put that in my head, because it's big enough that, you know, nobody's going to take it. It's not going anywhere. I want to have that information, and then when we have time, I'll come back and see if there's anything I can do with it.
So roll investigation.
May I, pretty please, Peter, roll my Smith Tools proficiency?
If you have Smith Tools proficiency, then yeah, go ahead.
I have everything tools proficiency.
Well, fantastic. Let's hear it. Let's see it.
Me to attach intelligence with that, because that's the investigation part.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. So so I rolled a 11, which means I got 24.
All right, so from what you've seen across this kind of blasted hide, in a way, you see obviously there's massive damage to one side from where the people were attacking. You can see that the skin for itself is more of a hide than it is armor. In some spots where you can see the crystals came out, it's kind of like a keratin tortoise shell style kind of around the base of it. And the front, obviously, armor plating is more of keratin. You devise that if you spent time, you would be able to craft some sort of one-off either shield for shield, or a barrier, or a kind of a defensive. It wouldn't be a cloak, it'd be bigger than a cloak. It'd be kind of like a defensive tarp, for a single-use tarp, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for now I'll just note that, and then in the design part of my memory core, I'll just have as a background program running just some of the like base, and then when I have some more memory to devote to it, I'll design it properly.
Yeah, for sure. Like you've kind of noted these, you in your mind, like in a beautiful mind style, you see like like everything kind of like all coming out in the pattern, and you just like
the wheels are turning.
Yes, the wheels are turning.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool. Second thing I want to do, and I'm going to be a little bit vague about this, purposely. As all of this has been happening, Shield has kind of been running calculations in his head on the most likely way that this is going to end. And he kind of comes to a conclusion that he at first doesn't like, but then says to himself, really, that he will need to prepare for this inevitability. So he goes somewhere and he very quickly writes some letters, just very small letters, and he packages them up, and whatever courier, he asks that courier to give the package to Mirage and Burkton, who he has really started to see as the person who is actually in charge of Burkton. As much as the other person, I forget his name,
Elric?
Elric, thank you, is kind of the mayor. The reality is, and Shield realizes this, Mirage is the one who gets things done. So to him, in his practical mind, she's the one who needs to have these things, because really she's the one who's in charge.
Okay.
And then the last thing, it's not, I don't know. Since the battle has ended, and seeing Barak have to deal with the loss of his chief, and seeing everybody dealing with loss, Shield is simultaneously, I think, bewildered, and for the first time in a very long time, I think he regrets the hole in his thinking that he knows he removed. Right? Shield, he knows that he should be feeling something right now, but he doesn't. And so he is accessing some old memories, and he remembers back when he still had a wife who was alive, and when bad things happened, he would do the robot thing, and he would just go and he would start fixing things. And it would make her feel better. So he's going to go, he's going to find a smithy somewhere with a big pile of broken stuff, and he's just going to start fixing things. And he's going to do that for probably close to the 2 days, unless somebody comes and stops him. And if he runs out of that to fix, he's going to go to the machinery and he's going to say, okay, I can fix this too. And he's just going to go and start fixing everything.
Okay. All right. As the armies start to pour in from either side, you see people starting to build battlements, build battering rams, build weapons, and you find purpose in that, and you find distraction in that. So you go off and you work with the smithies from either side of the Komodan dynasty in the kingdom, and you just throw yourself into your work without rest, without tiring, as a Warforged kind of defaulting to his default purpose, which is just to help in this time. And he takes his whole time there unless someone decides to stop him, but Shield will leave the rest for that. And last but certainly not least, Tobias, what are you doing during this thing?
Well, who better to stop Shield from doing that than Tobias? No, I'm kidding. That's not what Tobias is going to do. There's a few things that Tobias would like to accomplish as well. So I'll just paint a picture first off of the very last moment we saw Tobias recanting his exploits of taking down the tower to all of the Chad faithful. Zoom out while that story is being told, and the further you zoom out, you can see in the corner of the crowd, my mother was coming. She saw her boy was alive, and she wanted to go hug him and wrap her arms around him, but saw him in his glory recounting his story to all of their men, and she just had to sit back and watch her son do this, and a tear came to her eye. She was so proud, and she then left. Later, a few moments later, a courier comes and delivers Tobias a note. The note says, during trying times, family must always stick together. Now, the Chads are the strongest bond we have. Join me for a family only, and family only is capitalized and underlined, dinner this evening. We shall feast tonight. So, Tobias now has a dinner to attend. Before he does that, he's going to go and change his attire. He takes the coat that Eldrick had given him, folds it up, breathes it in, and says, "I'll be coming back for you someday." Puts it away and dresses in all black. Black tunic, black vest. This is a day of mourning, so he is going to dress appropriately. And he then attends the dinner. He actually enters at the same time as his brother. And his brother is walking to the table and is about to assume his usual position right by my mother's side. But Mother stops him and says, No, that seat's for Tobias. And so Tobias very happily comes and takes a seat beside his mother. And they talk and they enjoy their time together, kind of almost forgetting the inevitable battle that is going to happen shortly. Fast forward a little bit, Tobias the next day. We've already recounted the training that Tobias did with Orsina. Tobias decides he's also going to take it upon himself to use his prowess in illusionary to entertain some people and try and lift the spirits of all the men, much like Cypher was doing, but in his own way. And while he's doing that, he's creating some shadow puppets for the children, any children that might be around and haven't been, whisked away yet. His shadow puppet ability has gotten a little better. He's no longer using light in his hands. He's actually using shadow figures. And finally, before he wraps up what he is going to do, he thinks, well, you know what would be very motivating while we were out there, and what always motivates me is song and dance and just music. And while he's walking back to his room, ready to gather some of his things, he hears some wonderful music coming out of a nearby pub. And he walks into the tavern and sees a gentleman recanting a song of a battle long past, and he asks him if he would like an ale, and he says yes, joins him, finds out his name is Derek. Very close to Eric, but not quite. And
Okay.
and he's very happy about that, and asks him, after their discussions and drinking and recounting tales, says, it would be, I think, a great service to all of us if you joined us on the battlefield and played some uplifting music for us to go into battle with. And he's crazy enough to just agree and do it. After that, Tobias is already in his attire for the funeral, and that is where he'll end his little montage.
Thank you.
Just recruited a Derek. I love it.
Just recruited a Derek. Now there is a Derek falling around Tobias during this whole thing.
Of course there is.
Okay. So the majority of you are invited to a ceremony being held by at the head of this this ceremony. There is a shaman, and Borok is standing beside the shaman. Thode is standing beside the shaman. The rest of the blood hands kind of make like what looks to be like a horseshoe around a central spot, and it is customary that stones are put on top, kind of like in a little stone cairn of for kind of defense and for protective of the fallen. This one is lit up with candles stuck in the cairn, and you're motioned forward by the blood hands that are there. You brought in to this cipher. If you remember, you were welcomed in the blood hands by Borok that many years ago, and by association, the rest of you are as well. Shaman recounts battles, recounts heroic efforts of War Chief Dolva, and also some touching stories of him binding someone's leg and when they needed help, welcoming in somebody that was shunned by majority of the group, showing a kindness but a sternness, as someone would put it, a crotchety grandfather would give a grandchild. They speak of his final moments in battle. Now, for most of you, you weren't there, but you heard the commotion. While he was fighting on horseback with his bow and arrow, he brought a devastating blow to one of the kneecaps of Tower, which started the lurching forward. And unfortunately, he couldn't get out of there, along with the others that are being buried beside him. And he fell in battle. And there is almost a calm that is brought over now for this. A silence just begins to hold there. The wind just passes through the cold winter night. The torches warm you all, and a peace comes, and it's no longer somber. It's a celebration. There are people cheering. There are people telling stories. There are people sharing trinkets and putting trinkets on the cairn itself and putting offerings into War Chief Dolva's grave. There is talk of one day a war chief coming and taking over, but for now they realize that the threat is bigger than that. You see off in the distance, Borok, as you're all doing this funeral. Oddly enough, you see the Komodon dynasty. Some of the soldiers watching off into the off in the far distance, leaving a respectful distance between you two. The Holdremian soldiers watch as well. And as the night begins to wind down, a messenger comes for all of you. It says, the emperor and the king would like to have words with you in their tent if you're all ready.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can see we're kind of in the middle of something, but we'll be there when we're ready to be, which will be soon.
Of course. He backs himself out, sees himself out. Is there anything you're doing during this ceremony as the festivities are going to be winding down?
I'll get up and say something in front of the Bloodhands. I think they need it. When my father died many years ago, Chief Dolva took me out hunting with him, and didn't talk about the whole situation, just tried to teach me what it was to be a good hunter and try to keep my mind off things. And while we were sitting in some bushes trying to wait for an elk to walk by, I sat in some fireweed, and I shot up like a shot because my ass was on fire. And I swear that was the only time I ran back to camp so fast. That was the only time I saw that man laugh. But I'll remember it for the rest of my days. And you can also remember me running back to the camp with my pants around my legs because I sat in some fucking fireweed. And I'll assume everybody's laughing.
Yeah, there's a laughter begins to erupt. You hear people kind of whispering, remembering the day.
Now, what we're about to do is going to be hard. There isn't many of us left. I know that. I know what I'm asking you to do is kind of unheard of. We just lost basically the spirit of our tribe and our people. But if we don't do this, then there's not going to be any of us left. You all see what's happened on our borders. You know how many people have been taken by these things. So I need you to be strong. Buck up one last time. Because I think if we can get through this, then there's actually a chance for some actual peace among all of our people. Not just for a short time, but hopefully for generations to come. Right now, we have a couple days to prepare for this, so I want you to prepare and mentally think about what you're about to do and the importance of it. Everything else can wait. Everything else in life that we have, or we've been struggling over, all of those thoughts need to go away. And you need to focus on the task at hand. I know if you look next to you, you'll see someone that you trust and that you love and that you do anything for. So just remember that when we're walking forward into battle. All right? Stay strong.
See the blood hands kind of let up a cheer, a holler, grabbing the person next to them, grabbing one of, Tobias, grabbing you, grabbing Cypher, grabbing Orsina, and kind of welcoming them in. And the festivities of the celebration of life of War Chief Dolva commence. But for you all, you have been summoned to the camp tent where the king and the emperor. Is there anything else you want to do before we go there, or?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm ready.
As you
I just had
all,
a.
sorry, Steph.
I did have one little. I do want to have one little thing before, but we can do that after this little talk. I think, right?
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
As you all enter into the tent, you see a large table, kind of with a map and little, in typical war room fashion, icons and representations of towers, buildings, where the scale bearer passes, where these other areas of strategic points are, and there's little points kind of identifying that and showing these things of soldiers. But as you walk in, the king and emperor greet you. The emperor motions, please, all of you, sit down. Have a drink. Please, we have a plan, as it were, but want to bring it across to all of you to see what ideas you want to go ahead with entering the wastes. You see a druid walk in. You hear the kind of the clattering of a hippogriff in the background, and a druid walks in with long dark hair and kind of like green leathers, and she looks in and says, sorry, here you are, your highness. And she holds out a note and gives it to him, and he says, and he rose, he goes through it and says, we have intel from an aerial point of view, a strategic entry point, but we want to know how we can assist you all in getting into the... Seems to be there is a fortress within the waste, a blasted ruin from where magic is coalescing. We believe this to be the spot where the Lich is. We
Do
see
we have numbers?
scores of infected as well, as this report says. Sorry, go ahead, Barak.
Do we have numbers?
Thousands.
I don't suppose there's a way you could just teleport us into the middle of his lair and surprise him.
Well,
Suppose you have that.
can't teleport in the layer, but we can teleport near the layer. Now that some of our more arcane wizards have seen, have been taken by, flying or taken by hippogriff back, we've been able to see areas where we can strategically drop you in while we mount a defense front.
If I can have some suggestions.
Yes.
How many druids do you have? Or how many people that can fly?
Oh, we have brought a number of people. Whatever you need, we can more than likely give.
Any sort of thunder-based grenade or explosive will be good to soften them up if we can. If you can drop those as a forward movement, then I think that's going to make things easier for the ground troops to be able to pick off what we need to, at least save some lives that way.
You see a page kind of writing down these notes as he is as you're explaining these things, and the king is motioning toward him and making notes for these bombs. I will see if we can have some of our alchemists come up with something along those lines, but noted, and we will bring that in.
And I think if we can blow a hole in one of the walls after we start the forward attack, we might be able to flank in the classical L maneuver and see if we can pump in from the sides. I know that there's not much intelligence on their side except for the Lich itself, so that's something that will play to our advantage if we can get them into a vulnerable position.
Awesome. We can distract them for that. Are you saying that we will keep the frontal assault going and you will go in through an entry point through the explosion?
If it's possible, but I think you should give us 100 troops or so to come in that will distract as we can get through the internal sides of the tower and get up to where we need to go.
Is there a roof to the tower?
This is a old building from Ulmuthos that has collapsed in on itself and is now a kind of ruin from what our reports are saying. So it is fortified. It's a fortress, but it is penetrable.
Fairly decrepit. Okay.
It might be worth getting dropped on top of.
It works for whatever that dragon turtle thing was.
Yeah, if we can get dropped on top of, find our way in from the top, it might be better.
Well, we could also use some of our spells to help with that, right? We can cast, invisibility or dimension door to get behind them and take them by surprise.
Anything that we can save for the actual battle itself will make our lives better and easier.
And I think it's a good assumption that we will not be surprising him. I don't foresee him not knowing we're in his lair. So I just want to get into his main chamber with him, with going through as few of his traps as possible. Because if I were a lich in a ruined building with an army of crawling infected, I would have that place trapped out like crazy.
That sounds like a
And
one-off
be
to me.
secure inside of it. So finding a way to get through as little of that or as much of that as possible without taking hits, and I just maybe through the top.
He also knows this is his last stand.
He may have backup plans. We don't know. He may say this could very well be his just a fallen attempt, and he'll somehow try to find a way to survive another day and start again. Liches live forever. They have no reason to assume this is the final frontier for them.
I think his wickedness, cockiness might play into our favor as well, because I think if he has a chance to destroy us, he's going to be hell-bent on trying to do that. So if we can get him trapped or something, I mean, I don't know jack shit about liches, I'm not going to lie to y'all, so Your Highness, like Emperor, do you know, do you have any history on these things? Anything that we should know? Any weaknesses? Basically anything?
Yes. We have notes from the Belwick Academy. Now that we've identified that this is a lich, there will be a phylactery that will be his main source of everlasting life. Now, if you are able to destroy the phylactery, you have a chance at delivering a final blow to him, but that is identifying the phylactery that might be difficult.
Do you have
Remind me again what that is? Like, what do we know what it looks like?
It can be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything.
It's just a source of power.
Can I? Oh, okay. But it's not necessarily like evil. Like, we can't just detect evil on it and see where it
I
is.
feel like that whole place will feel evil.
No, yeah, it would be masked within there. So, but generally, it is a thing that the lich would keep close to himself.
What about Perry? Perry might know.
Is there any? Do you have any detect magic abilities that you could give us, Emperor, so that we cannot use our own spell slots to do that?
I can work with the Chirurgeons.
Oh, kind Emperor.
Okay, Emperor.
The
scrolls would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe we can outfit you with some scrolls of Thunderwave and
detect magic.
I will check if there is detect magic, and we will see if we can bring that forward. You said you have this Perry. Would he be able to possibly give you information?
I mean, he was changed originally, and he was tortured by them. If he had seen the Lich, or if he had interactions with them, he might have seen it or had some sort of inkling. Now that he's got his brain back, thanks to S.H.I.E.L.D.,
he snaps
he
his
might
fingers.
Actually, have an idea.
He snaps his fingers. You see a robed dragonborn come in, a kind of slender face, and he says something in Draconic. But you, once again, Borak, know he is asking for message. If he can send a message for you on his behalf. Are you able to? We have a scroll of message here that we can use if you so wish. If you would like to speak to Perry, I would love to be here when you're talking to him, if that is all right.
That's fine with me.
Insight check.
Go ahead. Insight.
Why does he want to be here? Other than being an emperor and wanting to know what's going on. Oh, for 22.
He is being genuine. He just wants to know what Perry knows.
Okay.
That's going to be hard
the Lich in disguise!
When it's in my head, so.
Yeah. So, Borak, you're given the scroll of message, and what are you asking Perry?
25 words?
Yeah.
Perry, it's Borak. What do you know about the Lich's phylactery? need as much info as you have. Very important. You can respond to this message.
Okay. And I get 25 words back, right?
He actually doesn't get the word message. He gets, you can
Yeah.
respond to this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can respond to
Perfect.
this.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I get 25 words back, correct?
Yes.
You hear in your head, hello. The phylactery is I've seen it before.
Before is one word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Shield, you
realized.
count for me, thankfully.
I'm doing it.
I've seen it before. It is a large crystal coffin that resides with him.
Just carries around a coffin.
In his laboratory.
Downstairs or upstairs? You can't ask that.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Is that? God.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right. So that worked. In the Lich's laboratory, there is a crystal casket that is the phylactery. That is the center of his powers. If we can destroy it, we will have a chance of destroying the Lich.
Okay,
You're
well,
welcome.
then if we can get you to this laboratory, then we have a chance then, is that not right, King Varen? King Varen's looking, yes, we could drop them in and give them at least a small group of people to help with the distractions while they move in. Is this something you all are okay with? Or is there anything else we should be adding into?
I mean, I'd much rather go to the beach, truthfully, but this is kind of the situation
Wouldn't
we're in.
we all?
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Didn't
No,
say he was a
stand
beach
is
guy, Bo.
murder on my joints.
Some
know-
mimosas on the beach. It sounds amazing.
Well, if we all live after this, you are personally invited to my Vindenfell villa.
Oceanfront.
Boy,
I
better
am
be-
taking you up on that,
well,
and I'm
you
going
better
to
be
eat you out of house and home.
You better be gifting us all villas on that coast
maybe,
after this.
maybe
done.
if success. But
We
at
know
dawn-
some real estate agents.
So
God.
Tobias whispers to the group, don't worry. I'll take you guys to the Chad vacation home if we get out of this. That place is a shack that he's talking about.
God.
The Emperor's
That's
villa is
profound.
a
Great idea.
shack.
The
Wow.
as the conversations devolve, you have all decided, just without doing any kind of voices or anything, to confirm, you all have decided that you will be flying in and being brought in on the roof and infiltrating through there.
Well, I either that or tunnel us underground somehow. Either
Well,
way,
It
can't
is
go
like
through the front door.
it's ruins, right? So I'm thinking there are probably holes in
So
places.
So I think it is, if we had a group that could go in and we could like be in the middle of them to take on from the side after the forward troops have gotten there, we might be able to distract them long enough for us to escape and head inside to where
There
we need to go.
there is information we are not considering right now. The Lich is very easily provoked. I have done so.
Yeah.
If we were able to I will
Lure
start
him
again.
out?
If I was able to provoke him again, and if we were to have a frontal assault and have it appear, possibly through some sort of animated armor, that I was leading a flanking maneuver, I think the Lich would commit the majority of his forces which would mean a small team of 5, let us say, could get into the main part of his lair without meeting resistance if we were able to do so quietly and subtly. It might make the trek to the objective just that much easier. The flip side of that is it would almost certainly raise our casualty rate by my calculations at least 20%.
I was actually just having this thought about casualties and how we're in the middle of the wastes. These geolucents aren't going to get to a nearby city anytime soon. They're not forming ranks and ready for invasion. They're just there. So by us sending our armies in just to destroy them, like who is it actually distracting? Like maybe it'll distract the Lich, but the Lich isn't actually going to be in those battles. It seems like we're just fighting the Horde for the sake of fighting the Horde. Whereas maybe when we destroy him, they would cease to exist. They would cease to be mined. They have minds. So is it maybe good to have our armies on standby so that if we get plunked on the top, find our way inside, and the army starts coming inward towards us, we can say, oh god, attack, distract them. But otherwise, just have them on the outside waiting, so we're not just sending them in for the sake of fighting?
Tactically speaking, the more engaged he is in distractions, the more likely it is us getting to him would be successful.
If
We don't even
I
know
may,
what that looks like. We don't even know if he is controlling them. But yes, please, Emperor.
if I may, I posit that the Komodans and the Holdremian Kingdom will mount an offensive right down the middle. And taking a little bit of what Shield has said and taking a little bit of what Cypher has said, I believe we could drop you in at a certain point while we distract from another end with a small group to help with any sort of hiccups you might find along the way. And as it seems from Perry, finding your way to the laboratory would be on your own.
We also might need some sort of device to be able to destroy the phylactery. An explosive of some sort.
We'll make sure that our alchemists are on some sort of incendiary, as you said, thunder damage.
Thunder, fire, big mixed together, both of those. Basically
Bludgeoning.
just a large explosion.
I'm all out of monster eyes to throw at it.
Yes, we'll make sure that we're looking into this.
I believe I can be of use to your alchemists in the concoction of this.
Okay, all right.
You definitely can be.
Well, let's hope that sending our soldiers in just to distract a Lich that we don't really fully know his part in any of it isn't sending everyone to their death
The druids will
unnecessarily.
fly you in with a group and have sending stones. We will give you all to mention of an escape, hopefully, if we are successful. If at any moment you believe that you need to pull the ripcord, then pull the ripcord and we will get you out of there.
On what Cypher was saying, and what Shield was saying, I do agree with Shield. From what my experience is with this Lich and what's happened, it seems that he is controlling or puppeting everything. But at the same time, maybe it's an idea to have the troops stationed right outside, or march right up to the gate, basically, and see if they make a move first. or if we can wait them out and try and maybe destroy the phylactery first and then see what happens from there. I don't want to say that I want them, that they're going to be far away, but I also see what Cypher is saying about no need for senseless killing and sending our people in to die, basically.
The Emperor looks over to the King Varen. Varen looks. Brief discussion. They look over, and there's been enough senseless killing here. We will march towards the gate and wait. On your word, if we have to push in and push through, we will. But we will wait until your word through Ascending Stone. Is this agreed? We will let you in the morning. We will take you in the morning, early at dawn. We will drop you off, and we will eagerly await your word as we bring our masses forward.
All right.
Master Shield, your will be welcomed by the alchemists in time. Okay, so the plan is you will wait. They will wait for your word to march in case stuff goes south, to kind of avoid the senseless killing. You guys all have already gotten inspiration, but for that, take another point of inspiration. Due
Double
to
inspo.
trying to avoid
Double
as much mass
rainbow.
casualties as possible. I am a grateful god. So the last thing we're gonna do before this is Cypher, you said you want to do one thing, but Shield, you are brought to the alchemist. What do you get to talk to them about quickly before we go on a break?
So I'm actually going to open up, like literally, in a lot of cases, because the way Shield is constructed and the way that he fights and the way that he was made to fight, he is a walking version of the exact bomb that we're trying to create. I'm basically powered by thunder energy. So I'm going to show them, so all my hands or gauntlets, I'll open up this and show them exactly in what happens in there to cause that percussive force, and I'll show them the things in my chest and in my head that make me predisposed to use magic that is thunder. Because the way I've always envisioned Shield's wizarding is not like, it's not typically wizardish, right? It's not necessarily a book. His spell book, for lack of a better term, is a component inside of him.
More mechanical.
Yeah, and so when he's able to cast spells like Thunder Wave, there's a thing that makes a thunder wave, and when he is able to do Thunder Step, there is a thing that makes that happen.
As you show off your device, that sounds very sexual for Warforged, but as you show off
several devices,
several devices, there's like a little hammer that like hits a certain concussive, like a percussive thing, and sends out a shockwave, and that's the thing you're kind of showing them that kind of creates that explosion.
Like the best like real world description of it would be the hammer of like a 6-shooter. Mm-hmm. How that like with a gun like that, that's how it fires, right? You actually just hit the back and it causes it. So I think
it's a mini cannon.
That's the best way to describe it.
For the rest of you see Shield kind of like opening his chest, but it looks like someone was just opening his coat, exposing himself to someone.
I flashed all of the alchemists,
and everyone's like, oh, and like all like just kind of like drawing and writing and stuff. But yes, they get the idea, and they begin work on that. So, Shield, are you asking this as an item to be given to you, or is this as an item to just be used by the army?
Well, I thought the whole point of this was to be able to destroy the coffin.
Right. So I'm assuming you would take this with you.
So I have 2 suggestions.
Okay.
My first suggestion is that if we have time, we make 2. One to breach the wall and one for the strike team to go in and place. I'm also suggesting that as a failsafe, the one that we bring in should come with a secondary, not ignition, ignition, that I can use me to do.
Okay. As you explain this to the alchemists, the way they understand it is that, you know, there will be one second device that you all will have, and then the other device will be a part of you, essentially, Shield.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Cypher, is there anything you wanted to do, before we bed down for the night and begin the next part before we take a break?
Oh, I have one more thing. Shield's been experimenting with jokes. So as this is all happening and he's flashing the alchemists, he just turns to Tobias and Cypher in particular, and in the most monotone voice, it is anatomically correct. Scene.
Oh boy.
Well, then that's impressive.
Oh, you're learning, Shield. You're learning.
I know jokes.
Very proud of you.
Cypher,
Very
you wanted to
happy.
grab everyone before.
I know jokes.
Yeah, I want to just grab all of you. Like once Shield's done flashing the alchemist, I'll grab him, and once whatever everyone's doing, I'll just kind of pull you all together, daisy chain you behind me, and find a quiet spot. Maybe it's starry out and it's nighttime and it's beautiful and it's peaceful. And I grab all of you and I hold your hands, kind of pull you into a circle. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out 4 flowers. And I've given you 100 flowers by now. Like every morning, I pretty much give you guys a flower. I just like flowers, and I make you guys flowers. So I hand Orsina a flower that has. It almost looks like it's the stars inside, like it's black with white dots on it. It looks like constellations. I give that to you. There is a flower that almost looks like it has the shine of metal, like little shields. And I hand that one to Shield. A big, really obnoxiously vibrant and like big flower that's got all these swirling iridescent like magical patterns in it that I hand to Tobias, and one that's just like red, like the markings you guys put on your faces for a bow. And I just hold all your hands, and I my friends, I've always believed that life is about sharing. That's all that any of this is about. It's about sharing, and it's about joy, and it's about sparkles. And I'm so thankful that you guys have chosen to share yours with me. So thank you. And that's it.
That was very kind, and I feel the same way. Thank you for the flower.
Yeah, you can't lose these, or I'll be very upset.
Shield will take his, and I was just talking about how my spellbook isn't actually a book, it's more of a component, but it still has like kind of book properties because you have to write spells on pages. And he opens it up, and there's a page with all of the flowers that Cypher has ever given him, and he just puts it in, and he just closes it, and it presses it and preserves it, and then it recedes back into him.
You see Cypher literally tear up at seeing that for sure.
I will somehow tie the flower around the handle of my bow. Go. All right. Well, I mean,
Okay. Go
So
first.
yeah, you do your thing with your flower.
Well, every single flower that Cypher's given Orsina is kept in the meadows with Moon in its own little garden situation.
Something about this flower speaks to Tobias. I don't think you've ever given Tobias a more perfect flower for himself. So he's gonna use a little bit of his magic, create this flower into an illusion, and have it as a tattoo right on his arm.
That's it.
And I'm beaming at all of you. Let us share this one last adventure together and hopefully have many more after.
we'll get through
All
this.
hugs. We
All
will.
Tobias, your memoir is not finished yet.
No?
you all sit together under a starry night and let the night take you in states of shield. Late into the night, a older dragonborn, one of the alchemists that was there, beckons you to the workshop quickly.
I'll follow, yeah.
Now, as you get to the workshop, see a series of alchemists, Haldremian and Comodan alike, working side by side with each other. And the older dragonborn kind of wrings his hands and looks at you and says, Master Shield,
Yes.
I am afraid that what you ask for is there is not enough material for what you are requesting.
What do you need?
I can only make one of these devices. We have made bombs that are going to be dropped if need be, but for what you ask, the alchemists can only supply one device. Now, I pose it to you, Shield. Do you want this as a item installed in you, or
No.
as an item that is handheld?
This plan cannot fail. Handheld items can be removed. You will install it.
No,
Bastard.
don't go full Vault Orb on us.
The
Unnecessary martyr.
night ends for all of you with the tinkering noises off in the workshop. For the rest of you, it sounds like people airing their day. But to Shield, he is the one that carries a heavy burden. With that, we're going to take a break. Everyone kind of had their 2 days of rest and dinners and learning bow staffs, training bears, unfortunately a funeral, communing with their patron, installing a bomb in them. But now the morning sun rises. It's just cresting over the land as you all are awoken by a group of druids. The druids, all of varying furbolg, wood elf, human, all look to you and nod in a silent acceptance. They ask, how would you like to be transported over to the wastes?
The most comfortable way possible.
We can
The fluffiest
transform.
animal you have. Or whatever you have. I don't actually care.
We'll transform into birds and we'll bring you in.
Giant eagle
Extra
is a good
fluffy
idea.
birds.
Giant eagle, yes, thank you, Orsina. Yes, the ones with extra down for sure.
Please.
No, we want to go up.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You're getting better with those, Shield.
Getting better with what?
The jokes. Anyway. Yeah.
He was not joking.
Oh.
Please, if you could follow me. You're led up this kind of snowy pass that hasn't been taken much, and there's a group of druids awaiting you. They all change into large. Sorry, what type of eagle is it, Orsina?
A giant eagle.
A giant eagle,
Giant
not
eagle.
a great eagle. A giant eagle, and they begin to carry you over. As the wings take off into the sky, the snow begins to clear as you fly over. The ground itself begins to change from a snowy plain to a barren, blasted land. Focus, everybody, focus.
Doing fine.
Doing fine. Laughing death in the face, essentially.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We have fluffy birds. We're fine.
Everyone's fine here. As you're being carried by the druids, you can see okay, anyways, we're back. Okay. The ground begins to change from a plain-like snow-covered area to a barren, blasted land where even snow is not touching. Vegetation is sparse here, and the rocks and the ground almost look like they've been pushed away by a massive explosion. Crags jut from the ground like shards of glass, pointing away from this blast radius. The dried, cracked ground becomes more and more evident with this sort of purplish tinge, and you can see from high above there's kind of a dust storm kind of beginning to. Off in the distance behind you, you see the military begin to slowly march towards begin their march towards the wastes. Off in the distance, almost silhouetted by the coalescing energies that are surrounding it, the ruins of Ulmathos, almost like a twisted, haunted, crooked version of itself, as pieces lay over top of it and slanted, crooked, bent, a large stone ruin with a coalescing energy in the center beaming directly down into it. The eagle, speaking to Orsina, makes notice that you are getting close to a drop. You have two options here in the drop points. You can go in through a ground level entrance, or you can go in through a roof level entrance. Sina, I'll let you either ask the group or make the decision.
They said roof level or ground level. I say roof.
I think roof is
Agreed.
what we agreed on.
Roof.
Roof.
Up we go.
The eagles begin to crest in further and land on the The ruins shift. There's some shifting rubble, but they find their placement and they transform back. They look to all of you and they say, we will be taking the defensive with you as you go here. And you see someone use shift earth, mold earth, and move a piece of rubble out of the way, revealing almost a arid, dank smell kind of coming out from it, like almost like a hot heat comes out. You hear like a as it opens up. Who's making their way in first?
This is just absolutely delightful.
Shield
Yep.
us.
Yeah,
Do the
Shield
thing.
does. Like, you don't care.
So,
This is
may
what
I
you're
ask you
built
all,
for.
are you
Yeah,
being
task
stealthy
this way.
or are you
Okay.
walking in? Are you walking in the front door? Or are you being stealthy?
Am I being stealthy?
I mean,
I
That's just it.
don't
Like, I think ideally we would be, but we have shield.
Yeah.
Good one, Peter.
There's
What we
no
make up
front
for in
door,
stealth,
right?
what we lack in
Oh.
stealth, we make up for in large metal man.
Yeah.
He's very powerful.
Okay.
We're all being quiet and he's ching, ching, ching,
Yeah.
ching.
We did not invest in stealth. We invested in shield.
Okay. All right. So the group
We're gonna die.
walks in rather boastfully into the fortress
No.
of the Crystal Lich.
No, we did not say
Maybe
that.
he won't know
Yeah.
how many people are coming, just one shield, because the rest
You
of
make
us
it-
are being quite quiet. but
Okay.
shield.
you make it
So-
seem like Vince McMahon is just strutting in.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm seeing.
That
The
is
rest of you,
exactly what it is.
I
whoever
leave
would
shield
like
like
to-
20 feet ahead of us.
Yeah.
whoever else
I
would like
am-
to, please roll a stealth check.
I think I'm being intentionally provocative to the Lich.
Of
Like,
course you are.
12.
12.
Ooh, nat 20, my dude.
Okay, that's a set. I
26.
got a nat 20 on one of mine as well. 26. Okay, Tobias.
I got a 6.
6. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have
Great
26,
job, buddy.
nat 20. Cypher, what were you?
12.
12. Okay. And a 6 and all right, and then we had
And shield.
a nat 20 from one of the druids. We had an 18 from one of the druids. We had a 15 from one of the druids, which is the DC. We had a 6. As a group stealth minus shield, everybody is stealth. We don't know how stealthy they are, but you figure yourself to be pretty stealthy. As you enter into this almost shifted building, the floors are slanted, rubble lays haphazardly, there's cobwebs, there's a dripping from some sort of leaking water, and you can hear wherever you move a slight hum in the background. It's always a hum as you move.
That's
The-
disconcerting.
The hallway in front of you moves straight. There's no offshoots, no nothing. But as you enter the end of the hallway, go either left or right.
Always go left.
Let's just start with L, so let's go left.
I mean, I'm in the lead here, so I'm good. I'm not even gonna consult. I'm just gonna left and go left, because that way I can lead with my shield.
Okay.
Ah.
I follow him.
Guys,
Okay.
Shield is so in character that he knows what side his shield's on.
The
Dedication.
as you all continue moving down the left corridor now, you see old broken rooms that have been not used for centuries, bookshelves torn to the side, beds thrown over, old fabric broken everywhere. But as you approach further and further down the hall, you see more signs of life, more signs of movement. There is a coalescing of noise not too far off, almost like a dull whisper. You hear the druids kind of unsheath their weapons just a little bit and ready for defense. So Mason, Shield is the one who's leading. What are you all doing? What is Shield doing?
Do I see anything?
Roll perception.
I'm gonna cast Long Strider on myself just while we're in. No.
Oh, this is the least perceptive character I've ever played. 9.
9. To you, seems nothing more than a hallway with a few offshoot rooms.
Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I'll take a minute and just take out some bones from a pouch and quietly roll them into my hand, and I'm going to cast 2nd level augury.
Okay.
And so just ask the question. Sorry, what's the layout again? What did you say?
Just a straight hallway with 4 rooms in total, 2 on either side.
All right. Is this the way to the phylactery?
You roll the bones, and the bones hint to a yes.
All right. We're on the right track.
Alpha Lich.
Sorry, Peter, can you remind me where the noises were starting to come from? Was it the sides or was it straight ahead?
It came from one of the rooms. You can't pinpoint
One of the
it.
rooms. But it was one of the rooms for sure.
Yes, but one of the rooms for sure. Yes.
Okay. I think as I am trudging along, as I get to each room, like, is it, you said there's 4 rooms, or like the doors across from each other on
They're
the
open.
side of the hall?
They're not doors. They're just open hall.
Okay,
They're
but like the doorways then?
Yes. Yeah, the entryways.
And so they, like, there's pairs facing each other?
Yes.
Okay. So as I get to the first pair, I'm going to stop. I'm going to kind of move to the... Yeah, I'm going to move to the right-hand one. And I'm going to peek. With my shield right here.
From you all, like, you see, like, you hear, like, the... of, like, this, the leaning over of the armor. And as you peek your head in, you catch sight of someone, a humanoid form with fiery red hair, just massive, but they're behind a cage, and there's more forms shadowed there.
Fiery red hair behind a cage.
And you hear...
Do you say that out loud?
No. I'm reiterating to myself.
You hear, as you lean back out, you hear, Hey, you don't look like one of them.
What?
Do I hear this?
You hear kind of a dull whisper, Borak.
I say, what?
You now heard what come from Borak, from Shield.
Shield, what is it? What do you see?
People.
All right, but what do they look like? Like, do they have the like, are they infected or?
Soft, fleshy, mostly fragile, like you.
Oh shit! Genasi, again.
Borak, is that you?
Fuck. Yep.
That is not what I meant to convey. Perfect. All right.
What the fuck you're doing in here? You get in here.
You fuckers out, and then kill this thing.
You enter into the room, and you see a caged off section of this room where there are a series of humanoids, blood hands, people from the outpost, people taken from the Tangle, Dragonborn. There are people that are not infected being held behind these gates.
right, well, let's let them out.
But they took all of my stuff on me. I can't do anything.
I mean, well, getting you out's a good start, I feel like.
I fucking
We'll
think
have to
so.
find some-
Sorry. I don't mean to be so angry, but yeah.
Shield, bend those bars.
Okay.
Roll strength.
$23.
Shield is kind of like, and it's just like a loud noise. You hear like, but he bends them so hard as well. Like they, you hear like a, and like an echo of a break kind of off in the distance.
Effective.
You hear
It's not any louder than I was being. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, who was watching you guys? Like, who was the bad guys holding you hostage?
Oh, there's. First of all, nice to meet you. Second of all, there was probably about a few. Well, there was this guy in a robe. He had like a twin brother, and they would always kind of walk around, making sure things were all taken well care of. Aside from that, some of those infected fuckers, and the rest of them. There was a rather large man with a decrepit-looking face, glowing eyes, crystals all over, ugly as fucking sin, with terrible breath, come in here as well.
Why were they holding you hostage?
Well, they were kept talking about making me a part of the army.
Huh. I guess that makes sense. And have we killed any twins?
No, you've not killed any twins, but you remember
We haven't
Perry
killed
mentioning the twins.
They
I
are
don't
on
think
our
I wanna-
list, I think.
I don't know. I guess we have to kill them, but I don't want to fight anything other than a lich.
Listen, if you can get us out and maybe we can cause a little bit of a distraction and divert some attention away from you while you're doing whatever you're doing. I'm assuming you're trying to, I mean, given the amount of humming and noise, you're trying to end this fucking thing.
Yeah, we're gonna give a big old breath mint to that lich guy, and it'll kill him.
Listen, I can make his life a living hell if you just let me make a distraction.
Yeah, sure.
Trust me.
I like her.
Nothing wrong with it.
Oh,
Yeah, she's one of us.
Compliment. She doesn't like anyone.
well, that's
That's
lovely.
not true.
I don't like anyone either. Nice to see you, Big Tin Can. Bo, just get me out of here. And just,
Well, that's already.
I got your
done.
back. I got your back. You can see a
You
few
know where
people
they're
kind
hiding your
of.
equipment.
I know where they've taken it. I know where they put it. Where they've kept it. I can get us there. But, where are you looking to go?
The laboratory?
The laboratory.
We need to find a coffin made of the crystal.
Coffin, like a vampire's coffin.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Suppose.
I've been in the laboratory. Well, here's the thing. Bo, if you got the time, I was just trying to get a little bit more advice or information for the Bloodhands, and I did sneak my way into here, and I did find the laboratory. I didn't see no coffin in there, but I did see kind of like a big old pillar, like it looked like a cocoon almost. Is that kind of like what you're looking for?
Could be.
Sounds
I mean, it
close
was
enough.
made of
They are
fucking crystal.
analogous.
It's in the laboratory. It's in
Yep,
the laboratory.
that's where we wanna go.
Yep.
We know we're looking for the laboratory, right, Peter?
Yes,
And
you know,
it's
yeah,
the-
you know
the
from
coffin
Perry.
is the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Well, listen. I can make this easy for you. I'll take my group. We'll go down the opposite way and start making a hell of a lot of noise. From there, you are going to go the opposite way, and you're going to take 2 rights, and that's going to take it to the top level of the laboratory.
Sorry, opposite way, like back where we came from.
The way you guys came, we're going to go that way. You're going to go further down this hall.
We will proceed as before. Good.
And then do 2 rights.
Yes, 2 rights.
2
And-
rights in the next set of doors, or should we go to the end and take 2 rights?
2 rights down a hallway, and the end doors are going to be at the end of that hallway. Large doors with silver blast doors, kind of bent to all fuck. You'll notice them.
I would like to make an insight check just to make sure these people are telling us the truth and not someone kind of under mind control or something.
Go ahead.
Good call.
If you inside someone under mind control, can you
16.
tell?
Depends.
16?
Pretty good. That's well above average.
From what you can see, Cypher, Genasi is telling the absolute truth. She's been locked up here, but hasn't been further tested on yet.
I think that sounds like a great plan. Are you guys going to get yourself killed, though?
I sure hope
Or are you
not.
gonna
I mean,
be able to get your way out?
she looks at the druids that are over there. She's like, are you all going to help us on the other way out and make a distraction? The druids kind of look to you for reassurance.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Then
How
that's
about
what we'll do with
you
yeah.
take them back, you make a distraction, then you fly them out to a safe distance, and then fly on back and follow us in as fast as you can.
We will certainly try our best, yes.
How many times can you turn into a bird?
I've got a few more charges left in me, yes.
I can only do it twice, but I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly.
Maybe they're different kinds of
They're
druids.
special druids.
Maybe they're different.
I've already used one. I can use one to get them out, but that's about it. I can walk back in.
No.
No, then you just gotta rest for an hour. You're fine.
Okay. Sounds
Still be a fluffy eagle that can help us escape in the end, but also if you could get them out and get back and maybe stay an eagle up at the top. I don't know.
good.
You have one eagle right
Or
here.
take a rest.
Need
I
it.
don't know.
We'll leave this up to you.
Oh yes,
because
yes.
obviously you know your own limitations and all that. So
I have the sending
You're
stone that
wrong
you all
capable
have as
druid.
well. If you need me, I will leave it out. I will be in eagle form, and I will leave it. I could hear you if you need me. All right.
all right. Perfect.
Feel like an eagle, kind of like pecking at it.
Ta-ka!
Well, are we doing this or what?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she
What is
just
it?
lets out, "Come on, you fuckers!" And then she just starts smacking with the broken part of the bar down the hallway, and you hear like kind of everyone just kind of chanting like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah!" And they continue to move down the hallway, and an eruption of noise begins to happen.
Oh no.
Okay, let's go. Let's.
She is extremely likable. Let's go.
She's got great
Yeah.
vibes, yeah.
Harry
she?
slept with her.
She's
She's great. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
she's from Bo's like clan, right? Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
goes-
she's one of us. She's a bloodhound.
I've met
I
her.
slept with
I
her.
hope
Great.
she doesn't die.
Well, I hope not either. She's very capable though. She was a part of my hunting party for a long time. I have the utmost faith in Genasi.
And the druid seemed capable.
of
Yes.
eagle.
I mean, I trust them less than I trust her. So she'll
Was the
keep my
druid
mind.
what did the druid look like? Was he like young and handsome? Or was
He was
like,
a
old?
he was a young. If we're gonna compare him to anything, he looks like Wholesome from fucking Baldur's Gate right now. So
Oh,
that's it.
stop. He's coming back.
Oh.
He better be coming back.
Okay.
Hey,
As-
help them, druid.
The chaos
Our only hope.
erupts. You all begin to move your way down the hallway. I'm assuming you're all going to take directions that Genasi gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Are you doing anything preparatory after that?
Is everybody else still being stealthy or
I mean, at this point,
no?
The
There's
time
no
for
way-
stealth is
we're
kinda
just
past
running,
now.
right? I'm thinking.
Time for stealth is not. I mean, we've got them making distractions, so let's move carefully, but slow is steady, steady's fast.
Okay. Well, as you all move slow and steady down the hallway, you take the directions from Denasi, 2 rights and down the hallway. Sure as it is, the humming becomes louder. There are these large iron blast doors, bent at the top, and twisted bars kind of break out from it. But from the interior, the hum
Or the liches?
At least the laboratory,
His lab.
his phylactery.
Mhm.
That's the target. That is the target. Shield doesn't use contractions.
How do we
Want me to
explode
do
it?
detect evil and
do we
see if
have
he's in
anything?
there, or
Oh yeah.
And I'll
I
detect
wanna know if he's in there.
magic as well.
Peter? I'll detect evil.
you get a massive detection of evil.
Evil.
And Tobias, a massive detection of magic.
Detect evil is a creature, right? Like, so it has to be like a creature.
It is a
can't
creature.
be like the phylactery's evil. Like,
It is a creature. You actually get multiple
Okay.
creatures.
multiple creatures. Yeah.
All right, so before we go in, I have a couple buffs that I want to do or something before we go in.
This is the raid check.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, I
Yeah,
the raid
rolled
check.
for my cosmic.
Leroy Jenkins!
What did you say, Ursina? Sorry.
I rolled for my cosmic omen when we woke up this morning,
Okay.
and it's even, so I can add on to like a check or a action or a,
Okay. Perfect.
All right, I want to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to do something I haven't done yet, and I'm going to pull my petal out from Estrella, yeah. And I'm just gonna kind of hold it really close. Say, okay, send me some help, and I use my 6th level Mystic Arcanum, and I conjure Fae. And just this like glittering moths, just like caps start glittering and circling in front of me, and emerging from this yellowy glow is a creature called a dandelion from the
I've heard of
Feywild.
it. Yeah.
And as per the actual spell, it is a concentration spell. He doesn't disappear if I stop concentrating, but it is concentration. He's friendly to us, and I'm really hoping that maybe with some help from Estrella, that maybe if I lose concentration, he stays friendly. So we'll see.
So
Becky's on her bullshit again.
for the rest
Yeah.
of you,
Cypher's on her
see-
bullshit.
I have a pedal.
you see
Do we have a cloaking thing? I feel like
This
we
is-
did, didn't we?
What he looks
Oh.
like. He's beautiful. I love him. He's like a big
Ooh.
he's a big noble
Aw.
dandelion boy.
Oh, I get it. Dandelion.
Does he speak?
I
does he
Yeah.
speak
got
Latin?
it.
Happier now that it's a
Has like
pun.
He called
Aslan?
Common and Sylvan.
Okay. This flurry of cap like moths, and you see like a lion kind of pounce out, and he goes,
Like, look at his little tail.
What
"Hey
the-
there, friends. How are we doing today?"
What the hell just happened here?
Sorry. Hi. I think you're gonna help.
You say shit?
Just gotta help us kill a lich, okay? So
Huh?
that you don't turn it to you, and you
She
just gotta
said
help us
lich.
so that the world and all the planes don't become crystal evil monsters. Okay,
Just
we
don't
don't
kill
want
us.
that.
Well, that's great.
Oh, don't you dare, Peter!
Oh, no.
this,
Oh no.
Oh no.
This was amazing. Okay,
Okay.
I bring out him.
Yeah, so
and-
no warm-up battles for you or practice. We're just throwing you right in.
I'm always prepared.
And I just said thank you for your help.
I'm always prepared.
Hey, no problem. Anybody else doing anything?
Do we have any cloaking, like stealthy thing? Well, I feel like we've used something before.
I have invisibility I can cast, but yeah, I don't have a cloaking device or anything like that.
You have passed without a trace. But I don't think it's going to do anything because once we go in there, we're there.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to cast Protection from Good and Evil, or Evil and Good. And I am going to cast it. Oh, can you not upcast it? That's stupid.
Oh.
Okay, who am I going to protect? I am going to cast Protection from Evil and Good on Tobias.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I am squishy. I'm delicate.
Y'all ready?
Flower.
No,
I mean, as ready
Emotionally,
as
no.
I'm gonna be.
Love you
Born
all.
ready.
I'm just gonna have produce flames on both my hands, just
Okay.
ready.
Produce
Cantrip.
flames.
Bo is ready.
Shield, I'm assuming you're walking in first if you're...
Yeah.
The
Hold on.
large iron doors in... Oh, sorry, Tobias, go ahead.
Oh, there's a hold on.
Yeah, sorry. Tobias is just gonna whip out the multiple Tobiases before
Yeah.
we go in.
Multi-Tobias. This hallway's starting to get very, very jammed.
Very tight.
In
Phrasing.
Too crowded.
Typical-
I just...
I turned to a bear. Just kidding.
in typical Elden Ring Dark Souls fashion, the door takes forever to like open. The ruined room hints that it was once ornately decorated. The tarnished golds, the rich greens, whites of the tile floor, now tarnished by centuries of dirt and grime. Jars of swirling purple liquid are littered throughout the room. The back of the room, though, on a raised platform, a large, glowing purple crystal juts from the ground to the ceiling. Hoses stick from the crystal, pouring out more liquid into these jars. Crystal Lich stands with his back to you, boiling away as the remainder of his beloved Ardor consortium affected watch on. Without turning to you, he says, "At last, we meet, you Geobreakers." Turns around, revealing this almost insect-like face covered in crystals, his eyes glowing, his beard hanging haphazardly through his face, his teeth yellowed, his jaw hanging askewed, and he is hunched over. Familiar faces. Some more unrelenting than others. And you can see he just stares directly into Borok and Cypher. I must admit, you were more of a thorn in my side than I initially thought. That armored one over there, that's a neat little trick you have. Did your gnome masters teach you that? If only I could replicate what makes you tick, then perhaps you wouldn't be standing in front of me today. But I have that chance now. Taps his hand on this large crystal cocoon. While I was encased in this life-giving crystal, I saw the truth, the true power of what the Weavers intended. It's truly a shame that my pet is gone, but all is not lost. Those who rejected my work, those who held me to the confining schools of magic, those who would not see the real power that is the Aether, pure, unfiltered magic of Aslos. Now is the time for Kindane Marlowe to enact his final plan. And you can see one of the purple robes flip a switch. Sparks go off throughout the room. The crystal begins to pulse and glow as other two robes jam these purple hoses into his back that are connected to the crystal. The crystal begins to glow, and you can see this almost pulsating glow come from the crystal lich. And you will be the first to witness my power. And that is where we're going to end the episode.
I don't like him.
This motherfucker.
So it became a lich bane.
Yeah. Well, next episode
Lich-bane.
is going to be the big fight. So get ready, get your popcorns, say your prayers, and yeah.